It's so pretty. Oh my goodness. Hello guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am feeling pumped and ready. I have these color changing watercolors right here that I'm so excited for. I saw someone else do this, but I don't remember their name. I will let you know, but right now, getting those scissors, snippy, snippy, snip. Watch out. Okay, I'm done. Chill out. Okay. We're just gonna open this package. It's got a little plastic saran wrap situation going on. A nice little satisfying peel. So these are Supervision watercolors. They are Japanese, I believe. They're fairly expensive, but you know, this box is a nice quality. It's very firm. And I'm just looking through these. There's a transparent one. That little box right there with the little filled in means it's semi-transparent. And I'm just counting these very weirdly, like twice for one. I think it's just because I'm excited, okay? Can you tell that I'm excited? I'm excited now doing this voiceover. And I've already done them, but I just want to get back into them because they're so flipping cool, okay? So let's just get into it. I'm sorry, that was aggressive, but let's just open this. I dropped it and it's on my fingers. Let's just get into this first one here. I'm just doing a little dollop on this paper. It's watercolor paper. Clearly it's watercolor paint. Just wetted my brush and now I'm just kind of swatching them to see what they really look like. I'm not seeing much color change right here. I got some more water just to thin it out a little bit more to see if maybe it'll change. This is called red yellow, I believe. It didn't show anything for the most part in the beginning. It did eventually. I figured it out. I do like how it becomes pretty transparent. I mean, you know, with watercolor, it does that when you put more water with it. And then I began to see the color changing. Like, you can't really tell, but when you press on it, you can kind of see some yellow underneath, as if it stained the paper yellow. So I noticed with this paint is that it takes more time for the color to change. Like, it has to sit on the paper, and then you can kind of wet your brush, clean it off, and wipe away the original color. And you can see that I did that, and you can see the yellow now, which is really cool. This is more like orange though, so
Yeah.
I didn't really see the yellow, but now I see the yellow. It's very prominent. You just kind of wipe it away. This one, I opened it and it just started oozing out. Like, there was no reason for it to ooze out like that. I mean, obviously, pressure. This guy was feeling a little pressure, you know, and sometimes that happens. And right away, I can see that this is just vibrant, kind of a turquoise blue teal. I definitely have too much paint on here, but I just kind of went for it. I just wanted to see all the colors it could give me, honestly. I thinned it out with water. I added a little more paint to make it thicker. I wiped it off a bit, and that really made the bright blue pop off the page. This really looked like a fish right here. I thought I was painting the side of a fish, so I kind of went with that, you know. Figured why not try it. And I also tried seeing how light I can go, like if I added more water. I had to swirl it around. I couldn't just add water, and that really made it more vibrant. I scooped that off, saved it for later, and started on the next color. And this next color is definitely green. I didn't see much color change with this, but I believe it's supposed to change to yellow. This didn't really come with much instructions on how to get the color to change, so I basically had to figure it out each time. And with each different paint, it didn't seem like it had the same method for the color to change. Mostly, you just had to wait. Other times, you just had to thin it out. And when it didn't work when you thinned it out, then I don't know. I just kind of guessed, basically. This is another one. It was very grainy, as if there were sand in it or graphite in it. It was interesting. I will not deny that it was interesting. I've never used a paint like that before, but it was really cool to see the effects of it. Once it dried, I really saw what it did, but mainly I did that same tactic where I wet it and then I wiped it off and I just saw what it gave me. This one didn't seem to stain the paper that I noticed, but the other ones did. So they're definitely different paint. And then I went ahead and labeled them because I forgot to do that. And I'm trying a new technique. I'm just dipping the brush in and wetting the paper first. So a wet paint kind of technique. I don't remember what that's called. I'm not like a signature watercolor painter, but I do know that there's different kinds of methods of applying watercolor. You can either do, I believe it's called wet on wet, wet on dry, and dry on dry, you know, all those different methods for doing that. The previous color I just did was called Gradient Blue, and then this one right here is a really, really pretty one. I can honestly already see the color changing in it. It's like a light pink, but also like a purpley indigo looking color. It was really pretty. I wasn't really expecting it to look like this, but I'm glad it did. And I was just kind of experimenting with the different textures, labeling them because I keep forgetting. And now we're on to the next color. And I'm sorry that it's a little blurry right now. Great filming, Olivia. I just kept trying different techniques. I really liked how this one looked. And then the next one was called Green Red, which makes sense why it's so dark. These are very, opposite colors. They kind of cancel each other out, making a really dark color. So if you're ever wanting a really dark color and all you have is like primary colors, go ahead and make green, or unless you already have green, and mix it with red, and then you'll get a really dark color, or at least darker than you think you could make. And already on to the next color. This one actually, in the tube that I showed, it had red and blue together, and I thought that was really cool. This one is definitely color changing. Like, I'm hardly doing anything, it's just automatically changing. And this one, yes, I'm already on the next color, is going to be a purpley red inside of the tube. You'll see now that I'm actually talking about it, and maybe you'll notice. But it's pretty cool. It was not as color changing as I was expecting it to be, considering it was more similar to the other one that was already color changing. But this one was more like, it was like red and purple, yes. It really reminded me of Spider-Man for some reason. It was like red, purple, bluish. Anyways, I'm just naming these. I kept messing up on my spelling, and I had to erase it, kind of figure out how to figure it out. Well, what? Either way, I labeled these. The texture of this one is, very grainy. I noticed that this kind of looks like an abstract landscape. Like the orange is like the sun, blue sky, green grass, sand, water, random trees, a lagoon in a way. I thought it was really cool. Anyway, let's go ahead and do something with these colors. Alright, they are too pretty to resist. I got my washi tape, drew random shapes. Now I'm just filling them in, and oh my gosh, right away, this is just looking so gorgeous. You can see it's blue and pinkish purple. I love it so much. On to the orange yellow one, or red yellow, my bad. It's beautiful. I kind of drew a strip in the middle and blended it out to make it look more color changing. Because I'm quirky like that. This one really confused me. So this one definitely looks different. It looks like the one that kind of exploded when I opened it. But it's also the exact same paint that I pulled from when I painted the first shape, which is very confusing to me, because I painted from exactly that color that was left over, and I put it on my palette, and that was the first color that I used on this picture. That first shape is the same paint as this third shape. It's so confusing. I don't know how that happened, because clearly it doesn't look the same. I don't know, maybe because it dried and then I wet it instead of wet right away and then paint. I'm not sure. It's just so odd to me, and I'm so confused. Unless my organization skills just aren't it, and I'm completely wrong and that is not the right paint that I pulled from. Either way, it's different and I'm not sure what happened. But anyways, I'm just lightening up this color, because it's clearly a different color than the first one. And now I'm just going to go in with the green color. It is definitely more transparent than the other ones. And that is very clear. I mean, they did label it on the tube that it was very transparent. And in case I didn't mention it, this one is yellow green. The first one that I painted is called golden green, which is also the same color, I guess, as the third shape I painted. And then the second shape that I painted is red yellow. And now I'm just painting the brown green color. It is an odd shape for sure, but you know what? I went with abstract for this painting. I wanted each color to go in its own shape, and usually it's abstract paintings that have random shapes and random places and you don't really know what they are, but it kind of works, you know, it kind of works. It's kind of like this is a painting, but it's also a swatch in a way. Now I'm on to the gradient blue, and it is definitely living up to its name. I really, really like this color. Yes, it is a simple blue, but it definitely makes it gradient. Wow, I'm not the best English speaker. It is a very gradient blue. It does it automatically, it feels like. And at the bottom here, I'm still doing gradient blue, but I mixed it with some of the other colors on the palette because it was getting a little messy, you know. So I'm just letting him live his life. He can be a little different color if he wants. You can see him in his normal state up in the left, but you can also see him how he mingles at the bottom right. Now this one is green purple. We're just gonna finish him up. And this one is purple orchid. Rose violet is this one. And then this one is rose ash. And we're just going to be filling in the background with green red. And then I finished this piece with white Posca, just outlining all of the shapes that I made. And now I'm just doing the final best task where I peel off the washi tape and I see that clean cut. And here she is, the final product. I am very happy with how this turned out. Beautiful. It was cool to see how it looked with all 10 of those paints. I really wanted to make sure I got all of those in, and I'm hoping I did, though I did count 11. So one of them was used twice. Can you help me figure out which one it was? Because I'm not sure. These two, very confusing. Either way, it is complete. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!